Saria. Number 15, Cho Gotto. Number 17, Diamond Min. Number 21, Adrian Duffy. Number 22, Spencer Barber. On the substitutes bench this evening for Cumberland United is number 2, Jack Schoen. Number 6, Alex Redmond. Number 16, Charlie Int. Number 18, Jaden Sprue. And number 19, Ethan Mayrama. And 23, Cade Elliott. And number 24, Youssef. For your West Adelaide Hellas lineup this evening, starting 11, number 2, June Otter.
Hello and welcome to HPG Home State League 1 final series action here at Kilburn Sportsplex, the home of West Adelaide Soccer Club. And we have got an elimination final that we are bringing you this evening between West Adelaide Hellas and Cumberland United. I am your commentator, Christian Marchetti, and joining me on commentary today is Antonis Pagonis. Antonis, how are we?
Very good, Christian. How are you?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to some football. For those that have been waiting a little bit for this game to kick off, we did have a reserves game that went into penalties, extra time and then penalties between West Adelaide's reserves and the Adelaide Ammonia Cobras reserves as well. For those wondering as well, West Adelaide prevailed on penalties in that game, so that's why we are delayed here at the Kilburn Sportsplex, and the players are moments away from walking out onto the pitch, and we will bring you the lineups in just a moment. But Antonis, just quickly, just a couple of minutes on this game. Of course, West Adelaide finished third in the State League 1 regular season. Cumberland finished sixth, which has brought us to this elimination final. Just give us, I guess, a sort of 1 minute spiel. What are you expecting from both sides, and what are you expecting to see from this game today?
Yeah, of course, third versus sixth, you will back the third side playing at home as the favourites. You just have to look at the games last week. West Adelaide's playing to go into second, while Cumberland are playing to make it into the final. So, big game here, big opportunity for both sides. For West Adelaide, they believe they belong in the NPL, so making it to the next stage of the final is huge. This final series is the way it works. If you can get past this first week, you're playing off for a grand final spot and you've got a home game. So even if you're a side that snuck in, like Cumberland, you get a win here, it's all to play for.
And in terms of the permutations and the result from earlier today as well, so Salisbury United in the other elimination final, getting up over Adelaide Blue Eagles. So Adelaide Blue Eagles, their season is now over. They are out of the final series. Salisbury United have now advanced, and they are unsure yet as to who they are going to play in the semi-finals. For those wondering, if West Adelaide win today, they will play Fulham United in the semi-finals over 2 legs. If Cumberland United win today, they will play Sturt Lions in a bit of a southern derby there over 2 legs. So for Salisbury United fans tuning in, if there are any out there, if Cumberland win today, you'll play Fulham. If West Adelaide win tonight, then you will play Sturt. So yes, that's just the quick breakdown of the permutations there. Some recent form as well, to speak to what Antonis was saying there as well. West Adelaide, not just the team coming in with the home advantage and being the team in third, but also in much better form between the two sides as well. West Adelaide are coming in, having won 3 of their last 5 games to end the season. Just the 1 win from 5 for Cumberland to end their 2025 regular season as well. And we are having now the players walking out onto the pitch here at the Kilburn Sportsplex. And we are going to bring those lineups to you in just a few moments' time. We can tell you that West Adelaide have made 4 changes to their lineup, and Cumberland made a couple of changes as well. So a little bit of an alteration for both teams from their final regular season game. And Antonis mentioned before, West Adelaide in particular, a very proud club with a very rich history in South Australia. They were last in the NPL only 2 years ago in 2023, but of course won the old NSL, the National Soccer League, in 1978. And they've won the South Australian First Division 11 times as well. West Adelaide. Cumberland, though, a bit of history as well. Last in the NPL in 2022. And they've won the first division as well a couple of times in 1978 and 1999. We'll bring you those lineups now as well for both sides. So for the home side, West Adelaide, starting in goals, number 56, Jackson O'Donnell. He also captains the team today. Number 2, Jun Otter. Number 6, Alex Simopoulos. Number 7, James Odenwalder. Number 8, Yuya Kato. Number 10, Dion Kirk. Number 11, Rovu Boyers. Number 13, Luca Dobrovolsky. Number 16, Luca Fabrizio. Number 24, Cairo Felix. And rounding out the starting 11 for West Adelaide, number 42, Connor Gollan. And we'll get to the subs in just a moment. For Cumberland, they're starting 11 today. In goal, number 1, Luke Schoen. The captain today, number 4, Ellison Dunton. Number 5, Daniel Labasso. Number 7, Joshua Swan. Number 8, Sebastian Tui. Number 9, Hugo Remington. Number 12, Anik Warner-Kulasuria. Number 15, Sho Goto. Number 17, Diamond Min. Number 21, Adrian Duffy. And number 22, Spencer Barber. The benches for both sides today. For West Adelaide, number 3, Joel Sanderson. Number 4, Amali Felix. Number 9, Eduardo Castaneda. Number 14, Ethan Nassau. Number 23, Marco Grelli. Number 33, Christian Ayuka. Number 49, Amir Ibrahim. And for Cumberland, their bench today, number 2, Jack Schoen. Number 6, Alex Redman. Number 16, Charlie Ince. Number 18, Jaden Sprout, who is the backup goalkeeper. Number 19, Ethan Majorana. Number 23, Cade Elliott. And number 24, Yusuf. And we are just about to get underway here at the Kilburn Sportsplex. And Cumberland get us underway. Hugo Remington, the number 9, with kickoff, and West Adelaide in early possession here. There might be a chance early on. It's Boyers. They recycle the ball with Fabrizio. So, Antonis, that was the 4 changes for West Adelaide with their lineup there. So, Castaneda, Bontor, Grelli, and Ibrahim all coming out. And Odenwalder, Otter, Boyers, and Fabrizio all coming in as Cumberland have passed that touches over hit. But quick thoughts just there on the West Adelaide lineup?
Yeah, they're a very lucky team because they can have a very deep bench. You see their bench, players like Amali Felix, Eduardo Castaneda, Ethan Nassau, Marco Grelli, Amir Ibrahim. All these players probably start for most teams in State League 1. So Theo Tsunis has a few impact subs on his bench if he does need them later on, but very fortunate to be able to start an elimination final and feel like he doesn't have to start him to have his best side out there. So good signs for West Adelaide. The deep team's a good team.
A couple of those players as well did join the club mid-season as well, trying to really strengthen that squad for a promotion push. And Cumberland, just those 2 changes they did make were Jack Schoen and Alex Redman coming out for Sebastian Tui and Sho Goto, as we'll just let this attack play out for West Adelaide. Kato, still on it. Yuya Kato comes out to Luca Fabrizio, looks to find his teammate at the back post, and it's centred, and Boyers is in there. And in the end, Daniel Labasso gets his body in the way and wins the free kick. And Antonis, would just get your quick thoughts on the Cumberland line up there as well. Those 2 changes with Schoen and Redmond coming out and Tui and Goto coming in.
Yeah, it's for them getting into finals. If they don't have a team as deep as West Adelaide, but a couple of good additions, I think they're good enough to strengthen this side. Obviously, you don't want to lose a player like Schoen, but some good additions for them as well.
West Adelaide in possession here. Dion Kirk. Here he is again. So the game in these couple of minutes, Antonis already adopting a kind of expected theme, isn't it? West Adelaide in possession, and here they go again. Boyers. Felix continues his run. Can he find someone with the cutback? And it's cleared away. Cumberland dealing with some early pressure here. Diamond Min. Down the line into Hugo Remington. Well marshalled by Dion Kirk. Maybe a little bit too tightly marshalled. I should also mention our referees for today. In the middle is Curtis Wordsworth. And our assistant referees today, Mark Padros and Mon Bahadur Kardka. And, of course, as it is the final series, we have fourth officials. And Joe Jordan Tripodi is the fourth official today. And the two coaches today as well, which I've forgotten from the lineups. Of course, Theo Sionis, the head coach for West Adelaide, and the experienced Phil Stubbins in the dugout for Cumberland United. Here they are in possession now. It's Warner Kulasuria. And now it's Tui. It's actually Joshua Swan with that cross. Did that ball go over the touchline? It did.
Dangerous cross, just no one there to meet the question.
So, of course, Hugo Remington is the main goal threat. When you look at the Cumberland outfit, he's got 9 league goals to his name this term. Of course, he had an excellent season last year with Adelaide Uni, winning the State League 2 Player of the Year. He scored 15 goals in the league below. So definitely one to watch for West Adelaide's defence this evening.
Again, rewarded by his coach at Adelaide Uni, who of course was Phil Stubbins, brought players like him and Daniel Lavasso across with him. They've been good additions for a side that did make finals, of course. So they've made the jump very well.
Yep, and definitely proven to be a successful signing with that goal return. Simopoulos, Fabrizio, Cairo Felix seeing a lot of the ball in this early stages. Dobrovolsky into Golan. Drives past the Cumberland midfielder. Good delivery. Cleared away. Might pop out to Fabrizio. Launches it back in. And in the end, Spencer Barber tracking back there to help deal with that West Adelaide attack. A couple of dangerous crosses early from West Adelaide as well, Antonis.
And you know this is from both their fullbacks. They had such a dimension to this West Adelaide side. June Otter there on the right and Kyra Felix, who came in mid-season from Para Hills. So expect West Adelaide to really stretch Cumberland using those fullbacks overlapping and providing those crosses for someone like Rover Boyers in the middle there.
Here is Cairo Felix. As mentioned, joined the club from Para Hills in mid-season. So did the man on the ball right now, Alex Simopoulos. Kato. Looks to find Boyers. His touch was heavy. Swan. Cut out by Fabrizio. And a strike on goal. Comes in by James Ottenwalder. It's well wide of the goal.
Yeah, just sat up for him there, Christian. So very tempting to have a hit at it, and he did. And you mentioned those two additions in Felix and Simopoulos, of course, brought in by their former coach, Theo Tsunis from Para Hills, who's now coaching West Adelaide. So again, when you are fighting for promotion in a league like this, it's always a dogfight. To be able to bring in players that give you an extra dimension like that's very important. And they're playing their role perfectly so far, and that's why you see them in the starting lineup week after week these days, ever since moving clubs.
Of course, Theosionis recently appointed as the Adelaide United A-League Women's head coach. Depending on the result tonight, a role that he could be getting into quickly or potentially delayed another week or another few weeks?
It's a role you can't really turn down, Christian, when you're offered. When you work part-time in football, you get an opportunity to have a full-time job. But I think it will feel a lot better if you can get them promoted to the NPL, leaving this job. Of course, he will stay on at the club for a year as its technical director, but he'll feel like it's a big box ticked if you can get this side up in this first and only year as head coach.
Free kick here for West Adelaide in a dangerous area. Simopoulos and Felix both over this. It'll be Felix with the delivery towards the back post. Cleared away by Cumberland. And now Shogoto could lead a potential counter-attack here. Barber. Luke Schoen. It's a risky back pass, and it's won back by West Adelaide. Cumberland having to mop up a mess there. Still not cleared. Eventually finds Diamond Min now, who could potentially drive forward with the ball here. Joshua Swan on this right-hand side for Cumberland. Looks to cut inside. Well marshalled by Dion Kirk, and then Fabrizio comes away with it for West Adelaide.
Just got to be careful there, Cumberland Christian. West Adelaide are going to give you enough problems. You can't create them yourself too.
Felix with the throw-in. Flicked on. Ottomolder, the little flick, looking for Kato. It's cut out. That was Adrian Duffy with the interception. And now Jun Otter on the ball for West Adelaide. Decent crowd in tonight as well, here at the Kilburn Sportsplex. Dobrovolsky looks to find Otter making that forward run, but it's cut off. This is the captain, Ellison Dunton for Cumberland. Looks to find Sebastian Tui with that pass over the top, but it's cut out.
Mentioning the crowd, Christian, it is their second year in this facility, and it's starting to feel a little bit more like home, you know. The Greek music before the game, the canteen. So slowly, the Kilburn now reality is turning into a real home for West Adelaide. So it's good to see. It's not every side around Australia can claim to have a proper home as they wanted. West Adelaide can. Hopefully take advantage of it.
Long throw in for Cumberland, flicked on. Away by Kirk. Swan. This is Diamond Min. Back to Warner Kulasuria. To be flicked forward towards Spencer Barber, but cleared again. And Antonius, you mentioned feeling like home. Well, West Adelaide, they haven't lost here since April 6th. And that was to Salisbury United, 2-1 that day. And they also played Cumberland here only a month ago in the league. That was round 19, as Jackson O'Donnell eventually deals with that for the home side. That was in round 19. West Adelaide winning that game 3-2. So definitely a recent meeting for both of the head coaches to draw on.
And that really, turning a home ground to a fortress is important. And West Adelaide have done that in the men's and the women's side. You don't want to come to Kilburn.
This is Jun Otter. Can he get a ball into the box? He can, but it's overhit, and actually the ball did go out and then swing back in. So it will be a goal kick for Cumberland. Yep, and on that day as well, back in round 19, Tito Bontor actually scored twice that day. Yuya Kato also scored for West Adelaide. And Spencer Barber and Hugo Remington both involved, of course, today on the score sheet for Cumberland as they look to play out here into Hugo Remington. Unfortunately, he can't keep hold of it there. But Bontor, not in the squad today for West Adelaide.
Been a really good addition for them mid-year, Tito Bontor. a proven player here in South Australia. I think he used to be with Adelaide Olympic, but had a stint overseas, I believe. He's back, and again, when you're pushing for promotion, all these additions make a difference. Yeah,
we look at West Adelaide's bench today as well. The likes of Eduardo Castaneda, Ethan Nassau, Marco Grelli, Amir Ibrahim. Definitely some options for Theosionis off the bench to draw upon, should it be needed.
Again, someone like Castaneda, MPO experience, Ibrahim, usually a starter. So players that you can bank on making an impact if and when they are involved.
Flicked on by Boyers. Cleared away by Cumberland again. Remington. Dispossessed by Fabrizio. Just to flick it forward towards Kato.
And I think a big advantage West Adelaide have with that deep midfield is you don't know for which combination to prepare for.
Felix.
So again, you look at the bench with Castaneda, with Grelli, with Nassau, all very different players to, of course, your Luca Fabrizios. You've got someone like Dion Kirk playing centre-back there that can go into midfield as well. So on any given day, West Adelaide can throw something completely different at you that can really catch you off.
Kato. Looks to find Otto Mulder, but it's cut out. Simopoulos wins it back for West Adelaide. It's been a bit of a theme for Cumberland in these early stages, unable to really secure the ball in the opposition half. That's a great release by Simopoulos, and Otter's got space here for West Adelaide. June Otter looks to cut it across. It's Boyers now at the back post, and cut out in the end by Ellison Dunton, tracking all the way back and getting in the way of what looked to be an effort on goal there by Rovu Boyers.
Yeah, superb ball from Alex Simopoulos. Just one pass completely disarms Cumberland, completely open on our far side. And you know what, Jun Otter running onto balls like that. Real danger there for Cumberland. Well tracked back, but again, we're 14 minutes in. You don't want that happening later in the game with tired legs.
It does feel like an awful lot of defending so far for Cumberland for the first 15 minutes. Short corner for West Adelaide. Simopoulos, a little bit too cute maybe there. Here's Diamond Min. Well marshalled by Gollan, but too tightly, says Curtis Wordsworth, and it'll be a free kick.
Talented young player. Diamond Min was with Cobras earlier this year from Metro Stars, highly rated, so it's good to see him getting experience in a big game like this, in an elimination final in State League 1. It's what we want from our young players here in this state.
Yep. I'm sure a signing that Cumberland look to again, like West Adelaide, just one of those mid-season signings to help boost a promotion push. Kirk. And now Boyers. And upended in the end by Dunton, but he did win the ball there. Good challenge by the captain. Robbie Boyers there a moment ago, of course the Solomon Islands international. He's come up with a really good goals return as well. Antonis in his first year here at West Adelaide. 11 goals in 22 games this season.
Yeah, been a superb addition, and again now with this new rule from Football Australia that you can add an Islander on top of your two internationals, achievements like this can open the eyes of these local clubs to the possibilities, as Cumberland played themselves into trouble, but the ball does land back safely to Luke Shawan in goals.
Yeah, they've had a few moments like that in recent games, Cumberland. Actually, last week against Blue Eagles, the winner they conceded did originate from a mix-up between defender and goalkeeper. So, no doubt, Phil Stubbins has echoed in his pre-match talks and probably during the week, particularly away from home in a game like this, to be safe and not sorry in those sorts of moments, playing out from the back. Here's Warner Kulasuriya on the ball again. Looks to find Remington. Cleared away. Still here for Remington. Getting in the way was the West Adelaide defender. Still with Remington. And in the end, a very weak effort rolls to O'Donnell. That was Luka Dobrovolsky with that initial clearance.
But positive signs for Cumberland, who do have an effort on target that they've created.
Another long ball looking to release Otter, and that one almost looked to hold up there. But Luke Schoen, the experienced Luke Schoen, well off his line there. And now Cumberland can maybe, again, launch an attack of their own. Swan. Min. Warner Kulisaria. Boyers tracks back. And somewhat aimlessly cleared by Dion Kirk. Dion Kirk, Antonis, a player who brings a lot of experience with him. Experience that could be valuable in a promotion push. Played for the likes of South Melbourne and Bentley in Victoria, and then a whole bunch of clubs in the NPL here. Campbelltown, Raiders, Croydon, Modbury.
You see that experience. He's normally a midfielder. He's dropping into the centre of defence. And again, as a coach, Tunis doesn't have to sweat.
I had the double take when we started the game.
His coach doesn't have to sweat about what he can produce there. He knows the player. He knows what he can bring. And you can trust him back there next to a young centre-back in Luka Dobrovolsky with the long ball here.
There he is. Looks to find Kato, but it's a little bit under-hit.
Again, it's one of those things we've seen in the A-League with Isaias here locally. When a centre-back's unavailable, you can drop him in there, not because he's a wonderful centre-back, but because he's a cool head, good on the ball, can do the job, understands the job. And next to a young defender, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, and Dobrovolsky as well brings some quality of his own. He was the club's under-21 player of the year last year. Here's Ottenwalder. And space maybe for Galan. And he does get to the ball first, does he? Curtis Wordsworth says no. And we play on. Looked for a second there that maybe Connor Gollan had got to the ball there first and was maybe fouled, but nothing doing. Here's Felix. It's a weak header backwards, and Remington gets in the way. And wins the free kick. Does Hugo Remington.
I think he thought the referee gave the foul against him.
I think he did, yeah.
Beside himself for a second, but he'll accept it and go in the middle, where he'll undoubtedly be one of the targets for this free kick that's going to come in.
And it will be Adrian Duffy to whip in this free kick for Cumberland, an in-swinger. In by Duffy towards the back post. Looks like it was Remington in there. And it'll be a corner on the far side. Actually, I think it was Ellison Dunton, the captain there, at the back post.
A real dangerous ball there. It's one of those awful ones that you're defending that comes back, gets headed back in, and you've lost direction when the shot comes in. So they'll be hoping for a similar delivery here from the corner, who might go short.
They are going to take it short. He cut back. It's just Joshua Swan. Has a hit. And it took a slight deflection. And it'll be a corner now on the near side for Cumberland.
Can't be napping like that, West Adelaide. You can see no one was even close to that short corner.
And it looks like there's, sorry Antonis, looks like there's a little bit of afters here between the players that Curtis Wordsworth has to get in the middle of.
Yeah, and they won't be caught up on the short corner now, but the ball ended up with Joshua Swan, who can hit them, as we've seen this season.
Absolutely. And it will be Adrian Duffy once again on the set piece. And Joshua Swan is lurking once again. They work it back to Diamond Min, and he'll deliver towards the back post. O'Donnell gets a fist on it. It comes out for Swan. And he hits the ball into the ground, doesn't get the connection that he would have liked, and it trickles away for a West Adelaide goal kick. Cumberland have quelled that little opening period relatively well, and now just a couple of warning signs of their own there. West Adelaide are back on the ball now, building out what looks to be Antonis in that back three shape today. Boyers looks to turn on it, and he was impeded by Dunton there. And win a free kick, and an opportunity for West Adelaide to get the ball into the box here, potentially.
Yeah, Thermopolis is on it, but I doubt he'll go long.
And they are going to, they are.
Doesn't seem to be their style this year.
No.
And again, when you have a good artificial pitch like that, why not play it on the ground, play it fast? You got that advantage that both teams actually have here. So
I was just about to say they did take a shot, but they almost gave it away in a key area. But it was Shogoto who lost the ball to Connor Gollan and then fouled him. And it looks like they will probably take this one short again. Dion Kirk's over it.
He's having a think about it, but there doesn't seem to be too much movement ahead of him.
Thermopolis. Ball into Kirk. A bit more in an advanced position for him. Cut out by Labasso. Dobrovolsky nods it forward, but Cumberland come back again. Goto. He's got Swan on this near side, and he finds him. Swan, one-on-one with Felix. Still got it, and eventually the defender wins out. And that was good tracking back by Yuya Kato as well, who drives forward down this left-hand side. Boyers, who was once again fouled, this time by Sebastian Tui. Quick free kick taken.
You can see they want to play West Adelaide, but as you said, it seems like Cumberland's almost kind of settled into this game, making it a little bit harder for West Adelaide to impose their will on this matchup.
To find that Jun Otter option down the right-hand side again. Looks like he's going to keep this one in. Well marshalled by Duffy. And Barber also helping out.
Again, that's what you want in a game like this when you come in as the underdogs. Yes, survive that early storm that you know is going to come. And after that, pressure goes onto the home team. The team that did finish third, everyone expects them to be the ones that advance, the ones that are playing the football. The longer it goes on a 0-0, the more that pressure builds. And again, football's a game of moments. You just need one of them.
Well, I did mention before, Cumberland did lose the last time they played here, but they did win here last year in round 16, which is probably around about 14 months ago, now just over a year. So somewhat recent history to draw on. I would assume some of the players on that pitch today actually were a part of that as well, or at least in the squad. So I guess they have won here before, not breaking new ground in that sense.
And again, in our leagues, just the competitive nature of them, the gap between like third and sixth and stuff like that is not massive. Often it's like 1 or 2 games. So even though it might seem massive on a ladder scale, when you look at a point, it can be a late goal here, a late goal there, that makes the difference.
Kato looks to drive forward there, but Labasso intervenes. And also with Cumberland, I think it is important to mention, we did talk about their recent games, their form. They've only won 1 of their last 5, but before that, they actually did win 5 straight. So there is a team there that has strung together a few good performances in a row this season. This long ball towards Kato, he brings it down. Can he find Robbie Boyers? He can! And it's an excellent finish by the Solomon Islands International. And he gives West Adelaide the lead in this elimination final. Fantastic finish by Robbie Boyers.
We said the game's about moments, so what a moment there. Great feed there in the box by Yuya Kato. Finds Boyers, and Boyers does what he's been doing all season. What an addition he's been to our local football landscape. Fantastic finish. Gives the goalkeeper no chance. And we speak about that pressure building on the hosts when they don't have a goal. Well, pressure has lightened off a little bit here because West Adelaide have a lead through the star man up front.
It's a fantastic finish by Robbie Boyers, his 12th goal of the season, and it really was an innocuous sort of attack from West Adelaide, but Yuya Kato there as well, bringing that ball down and then having the presence of mind to find Boyers.
Exactly. He had like 3 players around him, kept the ball really well, and then to have that awareness to find your teammate instead of just blazing away, it's what makes a difference in the big elimination final like this.
And now, Cumberland in a position, Antonis, where they have to chase this game. Luckily, They do have plenty of time on their side to do so. But this next sort of 15 is pretty important, isn't it?
Oh, let's flip the pressure now, because now the clock is not your friend. The pressure builds on you, and if you get a bit too keen, that's when you can get punished. So it's all about them finding this balance now with the clock ticking. And again, it did say plenty of time, but that can work both ways, of course.
And it is somewhat fitting that it's Carto and Boyers who have... and Boyers who have linked up there for West Adelaide. They are the two top scorers for the club this season, and they really are the two linchpins in that attack.
Well, you can see when you have that quality in the box, like you said, that skill, that awareness, that ability to keep the ball, and then that finish as well in the tight space, I'm not surprised.
And might be an opportunity here to create again for West Adelaide in towards Ottenwalder. Cleared away. Felix, not too sure if he was aware of Diamond Min there, but he comes away with it, does Cairo Felix. Still going. Boyers, the goal scorer. Cuts inside. Boyers looks to find Ottenwalder. Drops here. And now Gollan. And it's in. And it's two. And West Adelaide have gone bang, bang here at the Cumberland Sportsplex.
That's how quickly they can get you, West Adelaide. They've got all these wonderful attacking players. You mentioned Carter, you mentioned Boyers, but now we see the other two parts of that forward line. You go there, Odenwalder can have a chance at goals himself, decides to lay it off to his teammate, and Gollan finishes off the job. And suddenly we go from a game where Cumberland are working up the confidence in it to them being 2 goals down inside half an hour. This is how quickly a game can change.
And Boyers taking on the role of chief creator on that goal. Lovely centering cross. And Ottenwalder doing a bit of a Yuya Kato impression from the previous goal to bring that ball down and then lay it off for Connor Gollan, who finishes there with the aid of a slight deflection, I believe, looked to be. And Antonis, we just said Cumberland about how they had to manage the sort of next phase of this game, and that's the worst thing that you can do in that scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, just got to keep their heads now, Cumberland, because this can easily get away from them in the next 15 minutes before half-time. Again, not ideal being 2 goals down, but where they're at right now, going into half-time 2 goals down, may not be a disaster. You just got to keep your heads. If you can grab something here, fantastic, but this can't get any worse, or it can be almost game over.
Here's Min. Can they find something here? Swan's cross is brutally rebuffed by Cairo Felix.
Don't want to find anything here. It might be that ball, because no one's finding that ball.
And I should mention, Connor Gollan, his 3rd goal of the season there. Good presence of mind as well by him to make that little overlapping run and gamble at the back post. You always hear coaches and fans say that. Gamble on crosses, get yourself in the box. And in the end, he's been able to turn that into a 2nd goal. So as it stands right now, as actually we'll just see this corner play out, Duffy for Cumberland. In towards the goalkeeper. O'Donnell does well to punch it away. Swan towards Dunton. But cleared away for a throw-in. But as it stands right now, of course, West Adelaide will face Fulham United if the result stays like this in the 2-legged semi-final. This is State League 1, HPG Homes State League 1 final series. Long throw in for Cumberland. Cleared away. Barber gets it into Remington, tries to turn on it, falls for Swan, but Dion Kirk, well, was about to fall for Joshua Swan, but Kirk with a crucial intervention to clear it away from a corner. Looks like we've got West Adelaide player down here behind play. It might be
Yuya Cade. No,
Junota, I believe. Yeah.
But he seems to be up and moving. But that seems to be the avenue to goals for Cumberland. These set pieces, be it a corner, a free kick, as we've seen delivered by Duffy, or that long throw that can cause some chaos in the box. And
that's Cairo Felix, who's just down for the moment here as well. So just a couple of players here for West Adelaide needing some assistance. Adrian Duffy is waiting patiently to deliver a corner for Cumberland. Antonis as well, the key for West Adelaide as well from here. They've shown that they can certainly crack this Cumberland defence open, but you'd think the goal now is to get in at half-time, make sure they don't allow any momentum to go the other way.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, even before half-time, I reckon they'd be backing themselves for a third. But after that, again, you can use the game. Like, obviously you don't want it to slip, but you can use it to try a few different things. Because you know a final series goes on for a few weeks. You need a few cards in your deck. As
Duffy whips in the corner. Looking to meet it was, I think, Swan. But in the end, O'Donnell with an easy catch. And Cairo Felix has re-entered the pitch and he gets straight onto the ball. He's probably been, well, at least one of West Adelaide's more involved players, hasn't he, Cairo Felix? That time, though, he's dispossessed. Swan and Boyers in a bit of a tussle for possession, and Swan comes away with it. Here he is again. Back to Warner Kulisaria. Into Remington. Flicks it on, unfortunately, to no one. And West Adelaide look to launch a counter-attack of their own. Odenwalder chases, but Duffy does very, very well, actually, in that scenario to cut out the long ball. Samopoulos. Odenwalder gives chase once more. Labasso sweeps up. And Schoen's going to have to be quick here, and he is. Lovely touch by Remington. Diamond Min. Space to drive forward here. Goto. And his pass, well, he's just stood there looking at Joshua Swan. Looks like both players just not on the same wavelength that time for Cumberland.
Yeah, can't let that frustration creep in. It can be tough being 2 goals down. You're trying to do your best, and then there's a miscommunication like that. It can feel crushing, but just got to get back to it.
And also, that did look to be a promising attack. Just an errant pass like that or a miscommunication. Not what you need, is it, when you're chasing a game like this?
Because it's those 1%ers, you know. It's the ones that kill your spirit.
1%ers, a nice little footy term there that you've interjected. This is Dobrovolsky. Samopoulos. And just baiting this press maybe by Cumberland, and they've actually been able to draw them in and then play through. Here's Cairo Felix. Ball over the top looking for Odenwalder, and that had to be an intervention there by Warner Kulisaria. Odenwalder was lurking. He's really been lurking with those forward runs, hasn't he, James Odenwalder?
That's the thing. Someone like Rover Boys can take that attention away from someone like him. Last year, be more of the focal point, but this year you can kind of go a bit under the radar and come up with those moments like we saw before without being the focus of the attack.
This is Boyers. Space here for Boyers. Finds Odenwalder. Onside. Great save by Schoen. And the flag did stay down on the far side. And we were literally just talking about that relationship with Boyers and Odenwalder, and they linked up there. Great save by Luke Schoen.
And again, they can't afford to concede here, Cumberland. We've got 9 minutes left. They cannot concede because 2 is already a bit of a mountain. 3 is just about Mount Everest, really.
Well, if we were offering silver linings to going 3-0 down, it's that they would have a half to come back from 3-0 down.
Yeah, but the silver lining can be something negative as well, because another half.
Yeah. Here's a chance. Odenwalder. He's in behind again here. Looks to flicker for Otter, who goes down. And Curtis Wordsworth, our referee, points to the spot immediately. And it looks like Antonis West Adelaide are going to have a golden opportunity to make it 3-0 before half-time. And one of those long balls, once again, they're back 4, getting caught square with that ball in behind. A little flick by Odenwalder, and Otter looked Antonis like he got his body between man and ball to win the penalty.
But we've seen they've got so many players that are so comfortable on the ball, West Adelaide, that you almost get over keen to get it, and you don't want to get over keen to get the ball in the box because that happens. And it looks like it's going to be Yuya Kato there with the ball. That
will be Yuya Kato, already with an assist to his name today, and with a chance to put West Adelaide firmly into the semi-finals of the HPG Home State League 1 Finals Series. Kato against Schoen. And he dinks it delicately into the center of the goal. A lovely Penenka by Yuya Kato. His 12th goal of the season. He gets in on the act. And Aturnus West Adelaide are absolutely cruising here.
Yeah, you don't need commentary to tell you that this is a confident side, do you? They almost look untouchable out there when they're attacking, and it's showing up in their play. The last couple of attacks has been now the penalty, then the save from Schoen, and then you have to think back to the goal that we talked about. And very convincing first half here from West Adelaide. And Christian, there's another 7 minutes to it.
Yep. It's not 7 minutes. It's a difficult watch at the moment. If you are a Cumberland supporter, has to be said. And Yuya Kato, the nonchalance to score what is still a crucial goal in the context of the game, because as we know in football, 2-0 and 3-0 are two very different scorelines. But the confidence to just almost, just sort of think this in and make it 3-0, no problem. And I think the only thing now stopping West Adelaide is really themselves, the way this game is going. Here's Cairo Felix. I mean, goodness gracious, there could even be a chance for a fourth here. Boyers.
You can see they're not sitting back, are they?
No. Simopoulos, lovely touch to evade the press, and he's still going here, Simopoulos. Still going, Simopoulos. Kato. And Labasso, in the end, says enough of this, and he blocks the cross. And West Adelaide will maintain possession. Alex Simopoulos with a lovely little run there. I know you're a big fan of his game for sure, Antonis.
Sure. And you can see that confidence that we're talking about translating into his game as well.
And it will be Kato with this set piece. It just feels like an absolute barrage at the moment by the home side. Kato will go direct. Schoen gets first dibs on it. In the end, it comes out. Goto wanted a free kick. He's not going to get it. Dobrovolsky. And they recycle. It's a dangerous pass, but in the end, finds its way to Felix. Kato, Boyers. That pass is errant and cut out by Tui. Dunton looks to launch Remington. And his touch lets him down. He's really cut an isolated figure up front, hasn't he, throughout this first half, Hugo Remington?
And that's the thing. When you're playing for a side that isn't having its authority on the game, you can really be feeding off scraps, and that's been his day so far.
Boyers knocks it forward.
Just seeing Theo Tunis was telling his players just slow it down for these last couple of minutes. They might want more, but again, for him, a 3-0 lead going to half-time is a big box ticked. You know, they obviously wanted to be second to have this week off, but they're ticking the box they've been asked to tick so far.
Well, 3-0 is great, 4-0 is heaven, and 3-1 is potentially dangerous. So you can understand Theo Sionis just making sure that his players see this out. And, Boyers with a late kick out of the ball there on Dunton, who it looked like initially had taken out Connor Golland there, who's just going to need a moment. Looks like he's clutching at that left sort of thigh area. Connor Golland, who of course scored the second goal today.
You could see the referee Curtis Wordsworth to Rover Boyers pointing his head, be smart. No need for that.
I think he's actually just taken, Theo Sionis was probably about to say the same thing, so he's just beat him to the punch there.
3-goal lead with 3 minutes to go in the first half. No need to get yourself in any trouble.
You want a crazy stat as well? now in this first half. West Adelaide have scored 9 goals against Cumberland now across the 3 meetings that they've played this season. So, and we've still got another half to go between these two teams.
This is their average, 3.
Yeah.
With 45 minutes to go.
And Remington and Swan can't muster anything there, and Dion Kirk will bring this back in. Or Cairo Felix, rather, will bring this back in for West Adelaide. So, a couple of minutes away from some injury time here, potentially in the first half. Wouldn't imagine it'll be too much. Felix, great ball, breaks the line. Boyers is offside. The flag's up on the far side. And once again, that straight direct ball in behind the Cumberland back line, and
Boyers got booked for kicking the ball away.
Boyers, that's actually the second time he's kicked the ball after the referee's blown his whistle.
And again, as a referee, after you tell someone to be smart and they haven't been smart a minute later, you've got a couple of tools in your pocket you can use to educate.
Educate, deter. But it really is somewhat shocking, Antonis, how easily that Cumberland back line has been penetrated with these balls in behind. We'll just let this attack go, though. Flicked on. Remington. Cleared away by Otter.
It's a bit of a house of cards, Christian. After that first goal conceded, it just all kind of fell apart after that. But it's what we said after the first goal. After that, it's the most important period because you need to consolidate. Yes, you're disappointed. Yes, you want to grab another one back, but got to stay alert. Got to keep your head up.
They have looked somewhat dangerous on some of these longer throw-ins to just try and cause some chaos in the box. Kato looks to drive away from Min, and yeah, that is going to be a yellow card for young Diamond Min. Kato, just the experience there and the speed, really.
And they're very lucky that Carter wasn't allowed to play that ball through because his teammate had about 5 metres of open area that ball could have been played in.
Well, they've really had that Simopoulos and Fabrizio just sweeping up and controlling things as that pivot. But then that front 4 of Kato, Boyers, Ottermolder and Golan has really just sort of hummed in this first half as Simopoulos looks to find Ottermolder. This time is offside. But that front 4, as I was saying, really, really on the same wavelength today. And
that's the thing, though. It's one of those interconnected things that you feed them, and the better they do, they get confident, but the more confident they are, the more you are, because you know that when you pass the ball to them, they're going to do something with it. And Cumberland need to break that down. Look at this. This attacking line from Cumberland, they brought everyone up.
And it might work out for them. Remington, they do win the second ball. Sprayed wide now for Goto. Felix does his job defensively. He's really put in a good sort of two-way first half, Cairo Felix. Both ends of the ball, both sides of the ball, rather, doing a good job. And they will have a chance to launch another long throw here, Cumberland. Warner Kulasaria, but he goes short to Diamond Min. Labasso thumps it up in the air towards Remington. Golan clears, drops for Swan. And
head injury.
Looks like might be a head injury here. And just needing a moment, we'll try and let you know who that is once we know. It might be, yes it is, Luka Dobrovolsky, who's just going to need a moment.
I think a moment is all we've got before half.
Yeah, no, it looks like no physio attention needed. So
deep into injury time now.
Yeah,
despite a couple of really friendly people in front of our board.
Yes, that is excellent, actually. And even if I move right to the end of our commentary box here, I can't see the time, but that's all good.
I'm very confident we're at the 45th minute.
Local football. And Cumberland do take this free kick now. Swan, Min. Getting in the way was Boyers. And Swan was actually, well, that kind of sums up the half for Cumberland. Swan was actually unfortunately offside there once Min hit the second cross. And that is going to be half-time here at the Cumberland Sportsplex. And, well, it has been one-way traffic, to say the least, here in this HPG Home State League 1 elimination final. West Adelaide in full control here at home. 3-0 up against Cumberland United. Goals coming from Rovu Boyers, Connor Gollan, and the lovely cheeky penalty by Yuya Kato. Antonis Pagonis, your quick summarised thoughts on this first half.
Exactly what you said, Christian. One-way traffic. Now it's up to West Adelaide to manage this match, but all the pressure is on Cumberland. What can you do to make this West Adelaide side uncomfortable? Time will tell, but all West Adelaide so far.
Well, 1 foot in the semi-finals do West Adelaide have. Cumberland with it all to do in the second half. That will draw the first half to a close here at the Cumberland Sportsplex. We are going to go off to a break, and we'll be back for the second half very shortly.
Be back in 10 minutes for the second half. Let's welcome both teams back out on the park. West Adelaide Hellas and Cumberland United for the second half of the State League 1 second elimination final.
Welcome back to HPG Homes State League 1 final series action here at the Kilburn Sportsplex. West Adelaide Hellas are 3-0 up as we are about to enter the second half here against Cumberland United. Third versus sixth elimination final. And the goals coming in that first half from Rovu Boyers, Connor Gollan, and a lovely penalty by Yuya Kato. Antonis Pagonis, I'm your commentator, Christian Marchetti. Antonis Pagonis joining me in the commentary booth this evening. Antonis, we spoke about that first half before we went to the break, but just for the listeners maybe tuning in the second half, just a quick sort of summary of how that first half went and what Cumberland really can try and get out of the second half if there is a route back into this game.
Yeah, look, West Adelaide had a strong start to the game. Cumberland kind of settled everything down, but by the time that happened, the goal scoring was opened by Rovu Boyers, and after that it was all downhill for Cumberland United. Didn't keep their composure, and they only added to it. Connor Gollan got another one before Yuya Kato had a fantastic little penalty, a little Panenka to make it 3, and it's a long way back now for Cumberland United. But 45 minutes, crazy things have happened, Christian.
And that was James Odenwalder kicking off this second half here at the Kilburn Sportsplex. West Adelaide straight away sort of resuming familiar pattern from that first half, getting in possession, and straight away Antonis, seen Cumberland press a lot higher. They now have to try and chase this 3-goal deficit, and that was Spencer Barber and Ellison Dunton putting in the work. And just having a quick look around the pitch, doesn't seem like there were any changes at the break. There might have been for Cumberland. Actually, I think that's Alex Redmond who's on the pitch now for them. Here's Odenwalder, though, coming the other way into the hands of Schoen. And yes, Cumberland did make one change there at halftime. Actually, 2 changes at halftime. So Jack Schoen and Alex Redmond have come on. And it looks like Sebastian Tui and Joshua Swan have been replaced. So Antonis Phil Stubbins really ringing a couple of changes there, which is not too surprising given the circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. First half didn't go the way he wanted to, so he's moving the magnets around a little bit, seeing what he can get out of his side. He's backed a couple of players to try and inspire this comeback. There's a bit of argy-bargy there.
That's exactly the term I was thinking of, argy-bargy.
I think it's because Spencer Barber has been a bit too overzealous in a few of these tackles, which you don't blame him, and it's still going on, by the way. You don't blame him because you want to be aggressive, the good old let them know you're there idiom.
Absolutely, and if I'm not mistaken, now West Adelaide, of course, you don't want anyone doing anything silly and getting suspended potentially for that first leg. What looks to be very much likely a first leg against Fulham United next week in the semi-final. But Cumberland as well, any red cards today, if I'm not mistaken, would apply for round one next season, should they, of course, be eliminated as they are likely to be at the moment.
And, of course, that carries on to anyone that you play for. So someone may sign someone that has a gift attached.
As Kato's touch takes him out of play that time. So obviously no need to change for Theosionis at half-time.
Well, it's one of those things that he can make changes now, but from a position of power. We don't make changes because we need to. Make a change to give someone a rest. Make a change to try out another thing you might want to pull off in a future game. So, a good place to be for West Adelaide. But, of course, they'd like to ensure now that they've got their boot on the throat of Cumberland, they finish off the job.
Dunton just about comes away with it. Duffy, Portage, and Ottenwalder nips in front. Otter.
I'm seeing him line up there for a shot, and it would be crazy if he didn't score from halfway against Adelaide Cobras earlier this year. He's going in his locker.
Is that Otter or Carter?
Otter.
Otter.
Yeah, okay. Halfway line from right
there
back.
There we go. Here's Simopoulos. Had a very good first half for West Adelaide. Fabrizio and Simopoulos really controlling that midfield. Kato, and the flag is up on this near side against Yuya Kato. And in terms, you mentioned change a moment ago for West Adelaide. It might be an opportunity actually for Theosionis, if they can see out this next 15 minutes or so unscathed and potentially add to it, to actually give some of these boys on the bench a bit of a run, maybe try some things out that might work for Fulham. As we'll just hold that thought for a moment. Spencer Barber into Diamond Min. Can Cumberland get one back here? Barber with the thunderous effort, and I'm not too sure if that was a cross or an effort on goal there by the winger, but in the end only hits the side netting.
I think he's releasing that anger from those two challenges earlier on.
It's just a moment ago, but West Adelaide, so if they are to play Fulham, as is likely to be the case, looks like there's an issue with the net here after that effort by Spencer Barber. Where's Costa Barbarousis when you need him, Antonis? The A-League fans out there.
Real life, what's the saying that art replicates or life replicates art or whatever?
Imitates
art, there we go.
And we've got fourth official Joe Jordan Tripodi going out onto the pitch now as well to check this out.
That's the beauty of having a fourth official, because you don't have to bring out the volunteers who don't know as much of what they're doing or what they're trying to do. You've
also got, I think, a member here from West Adelaide making his way over as well. It doesn't seem like it's too big of an issue, because Joe Jordan Tripodi has walked back to this near side, unless he's going to get some material, some tape. There must have been a lot of anger in that shot by Spencer Barber. But just whilst we're...
And they can't even accuse West Adelaide of time wasting.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated on this scenario. Maybe gives both sides an opportunity. And yep, looks like
chair. We got the budding
we've got a chair coming out. Potentially got some tape coming out.
Do you reckon that plastic chair holds up an adult human standing on it?
No, that's looks very flimsy. And, unfortunately, modern day football in particular.
And I'm very glad we're getting a good zoom into that as
Yeah,
well.
we are. We are getting a good zoom in, but we know what it's like. All these little specifications and classifications, standards with nets and pitch lines and markings. Everything needs to be absolutely all clear. Even at a State League 1 level, as some people might
The operation has begun.
Still the same, and we are into operating on that net.
Just enthralling stuff.
Well, listen, the Wanderers are out of the Australia Cup, so Costa Barbarousis is on call. Unfortunately, he's just not in South Australia, but you know, if we need someone who's got experience patching nets together.
Just looking on the pitch, what's the closest connection we can make with Costa Barbarousis?
Well, of course, Costa Barbarousis does have a Greek background.
I'll do it for you. Alex Simopoulos was of Victory's Academy.
Yep.
Costa Barbarousis Victory. There we go.
Victory,
only
of course.
2 degrees of separation. Here's Australian football.
There we go.
You.
And whilst whilst this is ongoing. Hopefully it won't take too long. But I was just mentioning that, Antonis, with the West Adelaide bench, a few options there. They've got a few guys who have actually been in the setups of some NPL setups of a couple of players, some ex-Adelaide City guys, actually one who's starting today, Luca Fabrizio, but Marco Grelli's on the bench, who started a lot of games this season as well for them, and Castaneda, we mentioned before, who's obviously spent time with the Metro Stars. So some guys there who definitely have enough ability to affect the potential semi-final, should that be the path they now take moving forward. So
I just find it very interesting because it's both the men's and the women's sides have a similar dilemma that they've got very deep midfields, even
15 starters almost.
Well, that's it. But having that in the midfield is so interesting because the coach can really throw up whatever they want. You want a more defensive side, a more attacking side, a balance with these profiles, a balance with these profiles. You could really pull off double-digit combinations if you wanted to, if you have a midfield three, as the operation finishes, and I'm assuming they're taking that share to be immortalised.
The operation, I reckon that was a more clean and swift operation than I've previously seen in the A-League. Not trying to be some A-League hater, don't worry, but that was pretty smooth.
We're at a Greek club, Christian. You know what the solution is? You put some Windex on it and you move on.
Hashtag my big fat Greek wedding, if you've seen that film. Anyway, back to the football. Back underway. Fabrizio. Might be a chance for West Adelaide immediately. Ottenwalder gives chase. Schoen protects it back to his goalkeeper, and he has to clear it innocuously. Cumberland still haven't cleared their lines here. Labasso eventually does. And now Remington. But Dobrovolsky wins it back. Remington protesting to the official there, the referee Curtis Wordsworth. Felt he was fouled, but nothing doing, and in the end it was an offside. Now, one fact I absolutely have to work into our broadcast today, Antonis. We're talking about it today. This is a big one for the history buffs out there, particularly the long-time supporters of West Adelaide that have followed them since their NSL days. So 1978, of course, West Adelaide did win their only NSL, National Soccer League Championship. That year, Cumberland won the First Division here in South Australia and the Federation Cup. So a year of huge significance for both of these clubs, 1978.
And something to mention as well, player in that side, Neil McGahey. Currently we're in the stand named after Neil McGahey a couple of weeks ago, and you see him in every game, a massive supporter of this club, been immortalised here, and for good reason too. Just one of those ever-present faces here, and the club and his community are ever grateful for his contributions as a player, and now as an advisor, a supporter. You can call him whatever you want, but he still contributes in this day and age to this club. As there's a bit of a shove there from Labasso to Ottenwalder, and Curtis Wordsworth says, get up, get moving.
Bit of nonsense, isn't it, from a couple of the players here. Looks like Ottenwalder, definitely the type of one of those strikers who could be referred to as pest by opposition defenders, but in a good way, and he's actually done that job brilliantly today, James Ottenwalder. Here's Schoen, half-time substitute for Cumberland. Min spreads the ball now wide for Labasso, and his pass is really disappointing, and Golan intervenes and wins the throw-in. West Adelaide, Antonis, really still have a real good hunger to win this ball back and to try and add to this. They don't seem to be satisfied, which is a really good sign, isn't it?
That's the other beauty of a real deep team like this one, is you're still fighting for spots next week, especially in the midfield. You're not a sold starter, because, you know, you could very easily see a Castaneda and a Sal start. It's a very deep team, a Grelly start. And again, we said most of these guys start for
Dunton
with
an excellent pass to find Min, who's cut out by Fabrizio. But yes, the depth of West Adelaide A big, big key for them. Dunton comes away with it again. Goto centers it to Min. And his header is tame and well wide.
Yeah, he probably would have rather that on his feet, Diamond Min there. But yeah, it's one of those things, having a deep team like this, that at this stage of the season as a coach, you don't even have to go and raise your voice to get them excited or keep their foot down at 3 goals up. You can kind of say, look guys, it does look like we might be playing next week. You know who your competition is. Let's see it.
And that's what I was actually going to mention before. If West Adelaide are to play Fulham, they've got very, very recent history to draw from in that matchup. Fulham did beat them last week, 2-0.
It was
down
really
at West Beach.
The battle for second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why Fulham isn't playing this week. West Adelaide is.
Yeah. So, no doubt that if what is likely going to occur, that semi-final matchup is going to be a real mouth-watering clash. Here's Golan. Boyers. Been an absolute nuisance all day. Robbie Boyers. That pass is a little bit under-hit though. Barber intervenes, but can only find touch.
One more thing about that matchup, Christian. Of course, Sturt will be in the other matchup against Salisbury. And if Sturt does make it through the grand final, the winner of West Adelaide Fulham does get automatic promotion without having to win that State League 1 grand final. So, massive ramifications in the coming weeks.
Of course. Excellent pick up there by you. Is a interesting nuance to the structure, promotion structure in the state leagues. Here's Remington. Looks to find Warner Kalasuria, but goes out of play. And it looks like West Adelaide are going to make a change here.
It's Castaneda.
And it is the former Metro Stars man, Eduardo Castaneda, who did start last week against Fulham, back on the bench today, but he's going to get a run here, a good half an hour or so.
I think it's Rover Boyers who was trying to make the long journey across the pitch.
Is that really required at 3-0? Not sure.
Well, that's what his opponent, Alex Redmond, thought.
Yeah.
He said, nope, turn around and go that way. And he had the referee, Curtis Wordsworth, on his side. And now he will make an even longer journey around the pitch. But again, at 3-0 up with a goal to your name, I don't think he really minds.
So just to confirm, that was Eduardo Castaneda entering the game for Rovu Boyers. Boyers, scorer of that opening goal today for West Adelaide. His 12th of the season. And flying the flag high for the Solomon Islands is Robbie Boyers. As Barber intervenes here. Spencer Barber driving at the West Adelaide defence. And Spencer Barber cross is blocked. And now Otter can clear. But Barber doesn't give up. He's trying to make things happen, Spencer Barber, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. And one thing, Christian, about that substitution is it does show us one of those different dimensions to West Adelaide, because no longer it's a striker for a midfielder. So we've got Castaneda dropping into the midfield, and then you've got someone like Odenwalder playing a more central role than he was before. And now Castaneda almost playing between those lines there. You can see him by himself in the middle of the pitch.
Labasso heads into the air. Redmond trying hard to win that ball back, and then Golan releases Odenwalder, who's onside. Odenwalder cuts it across, looking for Kato, and it's cleared away. West Adelaide looking to make absolutely sure of their spot in the semi-final next week with a 4th goal here. Otter with the throw into Odenwalder. Maybe a question of a foul throw there by Jun Otter. Castaneda, his first touch of the ball. Fabrizio, away by Schoen. Remington, once again, outnumbered, but this time he does well to win the free kick. He really has been absolute scraps for Hugo Remington up front today. Here's Barber. Now Schoen. I think the worrying thing, isn't it, for Antonis is, hang on a second, here's Remington, might get onto this. Did keep it in, but ends up with Simopoulos. Schoen launches it back in. Redmond. Diamond Min. Keeping the pressure on here, Cumberland. Min loses out, but Warner Kulasuria wins it back, and it will end up with a West Adelaide throw. But I guess the concerning thing about this performance from a Cumberland perspective, and at the end of the day, it isn't going to be something to draw on for next week if they are to lose here, as their season will be over. But they haven't really looked too likely to score, have they, in this game?
Yeah, especially in that first half where the game was there to be won. I believe there was just one shot on target. That's a snatch shot from Remington. And you just have to see his performance there. He hasn't had much to work with. And a striker like that is what he lives for. So, again, for Cumberland, they just have to reevaluate and rebuild for another season. It's a tough reality of this league. Your goal is to get out of it. But once it's over, you have to have a really good look at yourself in building for next season.
Here's Dunton, Remington. Bit of space at the top of the box. Hugo Remington. And really well defended by Luca Fabrizio. And we mentioned Simopoulos before. Fabrizio has definitely done his job in the midfield. Actually, Antonis, the last time that you and I commentated together, Luca Fabrizio scored in that game. And that was the 2023 NPL Reserves final. Scored for Adelaide City, of course, against Adelaide United. A 2-0 win that day for City. Otter evades the tackle of Barber. I tell you, Spencer Barber, he's really walking a fine line. Otter's still going here. Still going, Jun Otter. And he's going to hit it, Jun Otter! Oh, my goodness. What a save by Luke Schoen. And Jun Otter, we mentioned before about him scoring from halfway earlier on this season, and that would have been maybe a new contender for goal of the season. What a run.
Yeah, and that's the thing with both their fullbacks. Both their fullbacks have that in their locker. They're both really good defenders, Felix and Nota, but they've got this in their locker. You remember as well, Cara Felix from last year's got a couple of goal of the season contenders in his Arsenal too. It just has a different dimension where you have to respect what they can do in the final third.
And we should mention the save by Luke Schoen.
Oh, fantastic.
Fingertips by the goalkeeper. But it is still a corner here for West Adelaide, looking to bury Cumberland here with a fourth. Whipped in towards the near post, flicked on and in. And it's Dion Kirk with the faintest of flick-ons into the bottom corner. And West Adelaide will be playing absolutely in the semi-final next week against Fulham. Dion Kirk gets in on the act, Antonis.
I think that's what he's telling us with the plane celebrations. We're flying into the next round of finals there. Again, that's not the celebration of a centre-back. You can tell he's scored a few goals in his time, Dion Kirk. But yeah, as you said that in the lead-up of the goal to bury Cumberland. And I think that's what Dion Kirk has absolutely done here as a card's given to
James Ottenwalder.
Yeah.
Getting himself in the book is probably no need. Has he? Oh, I was just asking a question of whether he's been booked already in this game, but no, that is, I think, his first booking. But excellent corner. I think that was Eduardo Castaneda as well with that corner, so making an impact off the bench. Excellent delivery right into that area where it was difficult for the goalkeeper to come. And that's a second goal of the season as well for Dion Kirk. So West Adelaide are home and dry here, bar an absolute miracle by Cumberland, who are probably going to very shortly accept their reality, you'd imagine, maybe with a few more changes here.
We did see a State League 2 game the other week. It was Northern Demons against, I can't remember who they were playing.
Gone, was it? Yes.
That was, one side was 1-0 up, and then the other side scored 5 second half goals to make it 5-0. So crazier things have happened, Christian. I just don't see any indication of it.
No, and this would be, that they would need 4 goals in about 25 minutes if you include stoppages. That would be basically a goal every 6 minutes if you're working out the maths. Here's Castaneda. Otter. Back into Castaneda. Trying to hold this ball. Barber wins it back. But no one's really helping him out, and West Adelaide get back on the ball. Here's Dobrovolsky. Looks to find Ottenwalder, but it's just beyond his reach, and Labasso comes away with it. And they're still pressing here, West Adelaide. Look at Odenwalder leading that press. And Schoen actually does pretty well to find Duffy away from the press. Still with Adrian Duffy. But he loses out. But Cumberland come out with the ball again. Here's Remington. Maybe a chance here. Remington looks to find. It was Diamond Min at the back post, but Dion Kirk now doing his job at the other end to prevent a goal there for Cumberland. But they will have a corner. Mentioned as well, Daniel Labasso, a moment ago. Of course, the brother of Jaden Labasso. And I guess he'll be able to say to him, well, at least I played in the postseason this year. That's the silver lining. As Dunton with the header. And it is Labasso. Back to Dunton. But he only flicks it over.
I was going to say, he was nearly about to say, nearly I scored in the offside.
And nearly I scored in the offside as well. But obviously, Jaden Labasso had another excellent season, actually, for Adelaide Comets and has played in many big games himself. Sorry, Antonis, he's actually in the crowd tonight watching his brother.
He's about 10 metres away from us.
There he is. Yeah, there you go.
And playing in a more advanced role this year, Jaden Labasso, under a new coach. He has been the last couple of years, actually, under Judge Sonis last year too, and he's excelling. We've really gotten used to him as a right back, playing a bit more advanced. Has been superb.
This will be a Nick Warner-Kalasuria with this long throw for Cumberland. Away by Simopoulos. Back to Warner-Kalasuria. Min. Duffy's got some space here, and he does get on the ball. Pressed by Golan. As Schoen and Cumberland have to start again. Barber just about keeps it in. It's into Remington. Tries to spin away from Dobrovolsky. And well, one thing about Hugo Remington you can say today is that he absolutely has tried his best and tried to really work as hard as he can to win some of these 50-50s. But often he's getting pressed by both centre-backs at times.
And often you see him pick up the ball out wide, which is not where he wants it. But
Barber does very well here. He's broken through Spencer Barber, and Simopoulos just about dealt with it. And he actually was able to get the ricochet off of Sho Goto there. And West Adelaide will have a goal kick. And Barber's been a bright spot in this second half for Cumberland.
For sure. You can see he's still driving to make a difference here. Probably won't impact the result of the game, but get a silver lining out of it.
He's actually got an excellent return this season, Spencer Barber. He scored 4 goals in 7 games for Cumberland, and he is their second highest scorer behind Hugo Remington with those 4 goals. Castaneda into Golan, and he flicks it over to Odenwalder, and Schoen needed to make that block. And it looks like there might be a head injury here behind play, and we are going to stop momentarily. I think that might be Adrian Duffy, who's just come out worse for wear. Referee Curtis Wordsworth just making sure everything's all good before we continue. It's just the one change made so far by West Adelaide, so still plenty of time for Theosionis to release some other options off the bench if he wants to give minutes to others, and Cumberland have made the 2 changes thus far, which were made at half-time, so both teams with substitutions to use. Here's Simopoulos, cut out by Labasso. Goto flicks it on to Dunton, who's running into space, but is well marshalled here. He does well, though. Gets it inside. Goto loses out to Dobrovolsky, who does very well, the young centre-back. Felix finds Castaneda. Into Golan. Space to turn here. Oh, and in the end, overrun. Here's Simopoulos. Golan. Simopoulos. Castaneda. West Adelaide start again. Well won by Goto. showing. Look at West Adelaide swarming immediately when they lose the ball. In towards Remington. Once again, can't do much in the aerial duel. And now Otto finds Castaneda, who can turn. West Adelaide, Antonis, West Adelaide certainly don't feel, it doesn't look like they're satisfied here. Still looking to play forward and create where they can.
Well, that's what you need in a competition like this, because you know how hungry teams are to get promoted. So you can't take a step back because you know someone else is going to be right on your back. And of course, this does seem like it's going to be a done deal in 15 minutes. But you've got a big two-leg matchup against Fulham United, who did defeat West Adelaide last week. So you've got to be on your game and entering that with the right mentality, the right attitude, and continuing until the referee's final whistle is a big point, because it ensures you're ready to go from the start next week. As
looks like Diamond Min, I think, who's down there on the far side. The last thing either of these teams would want is injuries, long-term injuries at this stage. I mean, for West Adelaide, to be fair, it could be even a minor injury. That could be a major blow if someone misses next week or the next 2 weeks. But Cumberland, any of these guys who are planning on staying with them for next year, you don't want any of them picking up a long-term injury. So that would be another priority here. And it looks like Cumberland are going to make their third change of the evening. And we'll get to that in a moment. Here's Redman over the top, looking for Min. And well marshalled by Cairo Felix. I believe it's Yusuf who is preparing himself and is about to enter proceedings here at the Kilburn Sportsplex.
Formerly of Campbelltown, I believe. Played 18s and reserves there. Was quite a handy player for them. So good to see him. He might be dropping down the league, as there's a booking here for Jackson O'Donnell for time wasting.
Jackson O'Donnell, or was it a booking for Hugo Remington here?
Oh.
Not too sure where that was pointed.
Well, it might have been.
Yeah,
so we might have to go back and have a look.
We'll have to go back and have a look. Looks like actually Charlie Ince is also getting ready in the dugout for Cumberland.
One thing about someone like Yusuf, it's good to see them. They might have to drop down the league, but to come and get senior minutes, it's so important for a young player's development. So good on him.
Yeah, we mentioned Luca Fabrizio was in that mould. Mm-hmm. Marco Grelli's on the bench for West Adelaide, similar thing. So, yep, some of these state league teams, that's what they can offer for those boys at NPL setups who haven't quite broken through.
In this day and age, players get too comfortable at a young age in their comfort zones.
And those substitutions have been made by Cumberland. So Charlie Ince and Yusuf have come onto the pitch. And in a moment, we'll let you know who actually came off.
Hugo Remington's one of them.
Adrian Duffy with the free kick. It might drop here for Yusuf for his first touch. He is going to get it now. Still going here, Yusuf. Still going. Did brilliantly, and O'Donnell had to get his foot in the way. Duffy back in. Away by Kirk. Well, that would have been some introduction by the substitute.
And Christian, just the two subs were for Hugo Remington and Diamond Min.
There we go. Maybe a precaution there with Diamond Min, who we saw a moment ago getting treatment. Here's Yusuf straight away into the thick of things. Looks to find Shogoto, but it's cut out by Dobrovolsky, who's been very, very solid today for West Adelaide. Odomwalder can't find Kato. And that ball into Goto. Lovely turn by Goto. Yusuf. Redman. Good switch for Charlie Ince. Warner Kilasiria. Dunton. Golan with a uneasy clearance. And unfortunately, no, that is not a pass back.
You heard murmurs of it. That would have been a very, very unconventional pass.
Just a miss-hit.
Don't think anyone needs to do that to the goalkeeper.
No, just a miss-hit clearance there by Connor Golan. Labasso heads in the air. Fabrizio, good pass to find Yuya Kato. He's being supported by Golan and Ottawalder. Kato cuts it back, but unfortunately the runs weren't timed as well, and now Cumberland can break forward. Yusuf. Looks to find Barber. Did he stay on side here? Spencer Barber, he did. It's Barber! Oh, and he can only put the ball wide. Well, that was a chance to at least have a moment of positivity in this affair for Cumberland, and Spencer Barber just did a good job there of holding his run, but he couldn't find the far corner.
You can definitely tell why he's got that good return this season, Christian, because even in this awful time of the game for a side 4-0 down, he's still pushing,
a threat. He's
creating.
Still a threat. Yeah. And I thought for sure that was going to nestle into the far corner, but just a fraction wide.
I actually thought that Jackson O'Donnell got a touch on that. Fantastic stretch from him.
Sorry, Antonis, just a moment there. Theosonis was just keeping the ball away from Adrian Duffy. Here's Barber again. He's a bit of a battering ram, isn't he, Spencer Barber, at times in these duels?
Oh, he's there. He definitely makes the defenders make a choice. You know, often you hear coaches saying, don't commit. I don't think he gives you a choice. Really in your face.
Here's Jack Schoen. Just overruns it. Simopoulos intervenes, and West Adelaide will wound up with possession once again.
Sub coming in for Cumberland again.
And it will be Kate Elliott being introduced, and it looks like, give us a moment, I think it is a Nick Warner-Kulasiria, who's taken his leave of absence on the far side. So Kate Elliott with an opportunity here, his 14th appearance of the season. So Antonis, for Cumberland, the wait to return to top flight football will have to go on another year. 2022 was the last time they were in the NPL. We'll just hold that thought for a moment. Here's Redmond. Charlie Ince. Back to Redmond. Looks to deliver. Away by Kirk. Back in by Ince. Dunton. And he flicks it on to no one in particular. And Cairo Felix will mop it up. But yeah, that'll be another year. They'll have to wait to return to the top flight. Will Cumberland. But it's also going to be 2 years in a row that they will have fallen short at this elimination final stage. I guess what do you think needs to change for them to try and either replenish this squad or add to it for next season to have a stronger bid to come up?
Well, when you think about it, this was the year of change, you know, with a new coach coming in, his players, his ideas. So for them, it's to build on that. But Cumberland has been a side over the years that has produced players and has gotten them through the juniors into the seniors.
They do have a very strong junior setup,
exactly.
Cumberland.
So maybe looking internally as well and seeing what else is available there as well. Obviously, Phil Stubbins has had a few clubs in South Australia, so he's got connections to see what else is available. But I reckon for a club like Cumberland, looking internally as well can do them a world of good because they do have some quality within their own walls. But again, they've stayed where they're at when it comes to position, being eliminated in the first final. It's about building from that. Because again, you get through this, you're basically playing for a spot in the grand final after that. And with the right grand finalist, you're also playing for promotion. So they might seem a world away, but they might actually be closer than they think.
Well, you're right. You know, with the structure, you win an elimination final and all of a sudden you're going into a two-legged tie that could be just for promotion. So it is not that difficult when you look at it from that perspective.
It's one of these, it is and it's not. Because
yes,
it's not far, but also you've got probably every year you've got at least 8 teams that feel like, yes, this is doable for us.
And also, we should mention, with Modbury Jets and Adelaide Croatia Raiders, now those are 2 ambitious clubs who are going to have no patience whatsoever waiting around in State League 1 next year.
And we saw what we did last time. They were down. It did take them a year or so, but the year they went up, they almost sleepwalked to that promotion.
And West Adelaide are going to make another change here. James Ottenwalder, he's getting a really big rap here from the West Adelaide supporters, being replaced. And Joel Sanderson is going to come on and replace him. And for Joel Sanderson, this will actually be his first appearance of the season for the first team. And I believe he's played some games with the reserve team. But maybe that was actually the applause for him for his first game of the season for West Adelaide. Here's Goto Kirk, who's actually done very, very well, and admittedly not having to face too much of a threat, but done very well in that centre-back role. One thing I want to mention about Cumberland, and I'm not going to escape the broadcast by mentioning this, but we talk about one of their own. Well, one of their own is Sebastian Tui, who started this game today. I was going through the research for this game, and I stumbled across a recent interview he did with one of their under-12 players. And he's asking him about all these different questions, and Antonius will love this. Sebastian Tui's an Arsenal fan. Mesut Ozil was a footballer that he looked up to. And he also mentioned that he has Weet-Bix every day of the game, every time they play. He'll have Weet-Bix in the morning, so kind of
how
helping.
Australian.
Yeah, how Australian, helping the old Weet-Bix. What's it? Weet-Bix kids. Yeah, so I guess he was a Weet-Bix kid, and he's continued that into his football life. Here's Kato. West Adelaide still could add to this margin, but yes, I just thought I would add that to our dialogue this evening. Yusuf sprays the ball to Ince, the 2 substitutes linking up here for Cumberland. Goto. Redmond. Ince, Redmond. That's good football by Cumberland. Still got it, Redmond. He can shoot here. Still going, Alex Redmond. Ince. But his cross is very much lacking. Well overhit the substitute.
And Christian, this is the first time we've really seen a bit of freedom in attack for Cumberland, and maybe you can attribute it to West Adelaide maybe taking the foot off the gas a bit, but again, this is a bit more of what could have given West Adelaide a bit of trouble when the game was there to be won earlier. But with 4 minutes to go, I guess even if that works out, it won't be decisive.
Long goal kick to Sanderson. Here's Yusuf. He's been busy since he's been onto the pitch. Here's Ince. Can he provide better end product this time? Charlie Ince. His pass, unfortunately, goes out, but aided a deflection, so it'll be brought back in for Cumberland. Here's Ince. His cross, once again, is mishit. The substitute. Maybe that sometimes is a case of a substitute when you enter a game and you look to cross the ball or shoot for the first time, and it can be a little bit rusty. Jackson O'Donnell will take this long goal kick for West Adelaide. Very much a formality now in these final stages. Both teams know their fate. As Connor Gollan might have just been winded there in the challenge. Schoen fighting for it. Here's Kato. Still down here, Connor Gollan. And even though it's not a head injury, Curtis Wordsworth
might have been like that flick that the Cumberland player tried to do. Just went a bit too close to his face, maybe glanced him.
Maybe picked him up near the crown jewels, dare I say.
I think it was higher up.
Or higher up. He's just going to get some physio treatment now. So, Joel Sanderson, looks like he's leading the line. So that like-for-like change there for West Adelaide with James Ottenwalder. Are you a little bit surprised we haven't seen Marco Grelli, for example, in this game?
Nassau as well.
Ethan Nassau.
Sure. But again, what a good problem to have for Theotunas. And again, someone like Rob Saraceno, which I'm sure is keeping an eye on this game, the Fulham coach. You can keep an eye on the game and you can see what they've done today. You can see what they did the previous week when they played them, but you can't guarantee the lineup that Theotunas is going to throw at you next week, especially in the midfield, just because they're so deep.
Well, Golan is going to come off here. Now, Joe Jordan Tripodi is signalling for a sub, and they are going to make a change here. And speak of the devil, and he shall appear. And Marco Grelli is going to come on. I'm not calling Marco Grelli a devil, though, just using the phrase in this context. And he is going to replace Connor Golan there. And it looks like maybe Alex Simopoulos is actually going to play a little bit more of an advanced role for West Adelaide in these final minutes. I mean, we are very much entering, I guess, a dead time in the game.
Again, he does have that in him, but it just shows you what you can do. Just one change can kind of throw around the complexion of this West Adelaide team. And while it is a blessing for the coach, it's also a bit of a curse because you've got all the tools, you just have to use them right.
Well, I do wonder if Robbie Saraceno actually is in the crowd tonight. I haven't spotted him, but probably is a good chance.
It's all right, with YouTube available, you don't have to be.
Yep, he's probably at home listening to us instead. How great.
Hello, Robbie.
Hello, Robbie.
See you next week.
And
of course, Fulham enjoying the week off.
Absolutely. Cumberland are going to have an opportunity here to perhaps get a consolation. Duffy with the in-swinging free kick, and meeting it was Dunton, but the header is well over. And we are now at the referee's discretion. Have entered injury time. I'm not too sure how much we're actually going to play here, Antonis, given outside of that fourth goal, we really haven't seen too much in this second half.
What are you talking about?
Oh my God. Wow.
Come on.
Completely forgot. Net gate. Side netting gate. The delay.
We'll be here for another half hour.
So we are going to definitely have 4 or 5. One thing I would say, though, is the referees in these scenarios do sometimes like to have mercy on the team that is 4-0 down and just likes to play 2 or 3 minutes. But let's see if Curtis Wordsworth is a stickler, and he probably will give us 6 minutes here. Knocked forward by Cumberland and cleared. So for Cumberland, it looks like Ethan Majorana will be the only unused substitute outside of the substitute goalkeeper, Jaden Sprout. Dunton with a really poor back pass straight to Sanderson. Still got a Sanderson. Cleared by Schoen. And for West Adelaide, Antonis, I guess a sign of progress, just quickly as a closing comment, is that they actually have now gone past where they were last year, which was losing the elimination final to Blue Eagles. They were actually in Cumberland's spot, finishing 6th and travelling to the third place team. But they've now progressed, and they're at least in the semi-finals this year.
Yeah, and I think if you were to ask the head honchos of the club, this would have been a non-negotiable. You go and poach an NPL coach, you really strengthen the squad. Of course, they wanted to see progress, and they've got it. But now it's about the next step. And as we said, depending on what happens with Sturt, it could be a promotion decider. But again, Fulham have shown they can get the best of West Adelaide. They're having the best season for a while.
Of course, we saw that last year with Playford and Blue Eagles, their tie turning into a promotion decider, which Playford won in absolutely dramatic circumstances. I do wonder Fulham and West Adelaide has the potential, I feel, for something chaotic or dramatic.
Well, and also at the halftime point after the first leg, depending on the Sturt scoreline, then you're entering the second leg very differently, because if Sturt has a few goals...
Duffy And it's Goto and cleared by Kirk. Sorry,
yeah, if Sturt has a few goals advantage heading into that second leg, well, then West Adelaide and Fulham know that winner of this is straight up.
It looks like Dion Kirk is just needing a moment here behind play. Again, not to talk cliches too much, but this really would be the last thing Theosionis would want. Any last-minute injuries. Throw in taken by Duffy. Back to Redmond. Back to Duffy. One last chance here for Cumberland. But it's cleared, and actually, Sanderson's got a run on here, and he's being supported by Castaneda in the middle. It's actually Grelly, not Castaneda. But Jack Schoen comes across and deals with the danger. Jun Otter to take the throw for West Adelaide. At referee Curtis Wordsworth's discretion now. Pass by O'Donnell, not finding Kato. So if you missed earlier today as well, and the confirmation of this result means that Salisbury United, who did beat Adelaide Blue Eagles on penalties earlier today, they will play Sturt Lions in the other semi-final. West Adelaide, as we've been mentioning, to take on Fulham United.
Which also means we're going to have a very interesting second team to join Sturt. We've got either West Adelaide, the historic one, or we've got Fulham or Salisbury, who both have long absences from the top league. So whichever way you go for it, there's going to be a bit of a storyline there, which is very exciting for South Australian football, if you ask me.
Of course, West Adelaide, mentioned at the start, but not just significant on a national stage, but they have won the First Division title in South Australia 11 times. So this is very much a club who, by historical right, needs to be in the First Division almost.
And they have not played in this place, Kilburn, in the NPL. They have played in the WNPL, obviously undefeated this year.
Last chance here maybe, as Grelly whips it in, and it was Simopoulos, I believe, getting on the end of that free kick, but he can't find the goal. Yes, Antonis.
But of course, you want a facility like this in the big stage as well. And they were playing out of West Beach the last time, which is not their home, obviously. So they'd love to have this facility here in the top league in South Australia.
And Curtis Wordsworth very much is adding on that net gate time. Forward by Duffy. Looks like play it down behind play, but that'll be it. And referee Curtis Wordsworth blows the final whistle. A comprehensive victory for West Adelaide Hellas in this HPG Homes State League 1 elimination final. They have very resoundingly defeated Cumberland United by 4-0 here at the Kilburn Sportsplex. And for Cumberland United, their season will end here, unfortunately ending for the second year in a row at the elimination final stage. For West Adelaide, they march on into the semi-finals where they will take on Fulham United. And before I throw to Antonis, I'll just report we do have a player after the game.
Eduardo Castaneda.
I believe it's Eduardo Castaneda, who's just still down here needing treatment. So hopefully nothing too serious for the former Metro Stars man. But Antonis, not much to add in terms of a summary apart from West Adelaide great, Cumberland a pretty bad day at the office.
Yeah, look, I think you summed it up pretty well. West Adelaide probably pretty upset having to play this game, losing out on that basically second spot clash last week, but they were given the box to tick. They've ticked it. Now to the big time. A spot in the grand final, potentially in the NPL, up for grabs against Fulham United, which has given them will give them a challenge. As we saw last week, Fulham were able to win that game by a couple of goals. West Adelaide will want to be ready and prepared when that comes around.
Yep, and a quick confirmation. So your State League 1, HPG Home State League 1 semi-final lineup for next week. Fulham United and West Adelaide will face off in one semi-final, the first leg. Sturt Lions and Salisbury United to face off in the other semi-final, first leg, and then the second legs.
And I believe West Adelaide and Salisbury will be hosting first.
Yes, that's right, of course, as the lower seeded teams too. So that will do for us. Antonis, thank you for joining me on the broadcast today. Any closing remarks?
Looking forward to next week, Christian.
No worries. Looking forward to it as well. Thank you for joining us for the last couple of hours, particularly if you were waiting for the delayed kickoff. We thank you very much for tuning in, and please enjoy the rest of your weekend. Until now, bye.